Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 6 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Whitney Ward. A former Spokane chief now suing the Chicago Blackhawks, saying the team failed to respond when he reported a sexual assault at the hands of a video coach.
The lawsuit was originally filed by an unknown player, but now Kyle Beach confirms he is the player that was once known as John Doe.
He was a Spokane chief for the '09 hockey season, but by 2010, Kyle Beach was in Chicago playing for the Blackhawks. It was in May of that year, he says, he became a victim of sexual assault.
Yes, I am a survivor.
Now, more than a decade later, he says he's finally opening up to let other victims know they are not alone.
I'm speaking out now to hopefully give them a voice, to give them the power to come forward.
Beach was 20 years old when he says then Blackhawks video coach Brad Aldrich forcibly kissed him and performed oral sex, threatening him with a baseball bat that he would never play in the NHL if anyone found out. A 107-page report just released this week after the team's internal investigation reveals Beach reported the assault to the team, but that team executives, including then head coach Joel Quenneville, ignored his pleas for help.
He's quoted him as saying something along the lines of, "We can't deal with this now because we're so close to in the Stanley Cup Finals." And that is absolutely the wrong message.
Brad Aldrich!
Aldrich later told investigators the encounter with Beach was consensual. The report also claims Aldrich assaulted a team intern and 3 years later pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting a minor, something Beach says should have been prevented.
My message to him was that I'm sorry, because I feel like maybe I could have done more then to protect him.
2 Blackhawks team executives have now stepped down, and the organization has been fined $2 million by the league. In a statement, the team's new management apologized and commended Beach's courage in coming forward, while former teammates are also voicing their support.
Yeah, I knew Kyle pretty well from a couple different training camps. Wish back then we could have done some different things or knew about some different things that maybe we could have helped them.
You know, now when you go through the detail of it all, it looks ugly, and it's really hard to stomach the fact that you don't dive into something like that a little bit more.
But Beach says it's time for the entire league to do more and for NHL leaders to take reports of abuse more seriously in the future, so what happened to him doesn't happen again.
When is it going to be enough for the NHL to step in and say enough is enough?
We continue with breaking news now that we told you about earlier. A home in Rathdrum exploded this afternoon while the homeowners were still inside.
KREM 2's Cody Proctor is live at the home tonight. And Cody, it seems like those homeowners got extremely lucky.
That's right, Mark and Whitney. Those homeowners are very, very lucky, especially when you take a look at some of the photos that we received from viewers of that house explosion and the damage to that property. Now, right now, I am in the Timber Landings neighborhood. That home is just a block away. You can kind of see it off in the distance at West Christine Street and Beechwood Street. The home had received a lot of damage. Some of the walls had come down. Part of the roof had collapsed. Crews are still currently on scene. And when I arrived here initially around just before 4 o'clock, there was still smoke coming from the home. And to give you perspective, this home actually butts up against the sports fields of Lakeland Senior High School here in Rathdrum. Now let's just start from the beginning. This all began at about 10:15 this morning. Northern Lakes Fire District Fire Marshal Tyler Driscoll says Ziply Fiber had subcontractors working on boring for a fiber optic line when they struck a gas line. Both fire crews and Avista responded to the home, and Avista managed to stop the leak. Then we'll move into the afternoon, about 12:45 in the afternoon. Fire crews were called out again for this home explosion, and according to Driscoll, the property owners were actually inside with an Avista representative. The husband was burned on his arm. He was taken to Kootenai Health with minor injuries. The Avista rep, according to Driscoll, received what was described as a sunburn on his neck. The wife was unharmed. At this time, it is believed that the explosion is possibly due to gas that accumulated in the void spaces. Driscoll said Avista had done a walkthrough of the home and initially didn't register any gas in the living areas, and they actually allowed the homeowners in because that gas was secure and there was no gas registered in the home. And they were actually being let inside to get personal belongings because they weren't going to stay in the home until Avista had fixed the gas line. Driscoll says those voids, so wall spaces and floor spaces, may have filled up with natural gas, and the fire may have started when the power was turned back on. So they are still currently on scene working to secure that gas. About 12 homes are still evacuated at this time. Driscoll says Avista will stay on scene until they're confident that the natural gas is out of the ground and none of the homes have natural gas. Northern Lakes Fire District does plan to continue coming back to monitor the scene throughout the night. We have also heard, according to Driscoll, that Avista is getting the evacuated residents a place for the night until the gas is secured. So continuing to keep a close eye on the scene. Reporting in Rathdrum, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
All right, Cody, my goodness, when you look at those pictures, hard to believe that anybody could survive that, right? Wow.
Incredible.
Well, parents don't expect a COVID vaccine mandate for students this year, even if a vaccine is approved for younger children next week. That is the message from Washington State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Chris Rakedahl. He had that message today during his press conference. Rakedahl also said teachers, students, and parents should expect the mask mandate for campuses to remain in place for the rest of the school year. That may change this year. What may change this year, rather, is quarantine protocols. Right now, about 50,000 kids, or 14% of students, are absent each day, many of them missing school after a COVID exposure or symptoms.
But the disruption to learning and the impact on teachers to make up lesson plans, the strain on the system in other ways is immense.
OSBI is working with the Department of Health to see if they may be able to safely adjust some of those quarantine protocols.
And while Pfizer's vaccine for kids has not yet been fully approved, states are already gearing up to get those shots into arms. Washington has requested 230,000 doses, and the state is hoping to have them delivered to providers next week. And an additional 86,000 doses are expected to arrive at pharmacies through a federal program. We're still waiting for a few more votes, though, from the FDA before it goes to the CDC for final approval next week.
A new study found an inexpensive antidepressant reduced the need for hospitalization among high-risk adults with COVID-19. The pill, called fluvoxamine, is normally used for depressive and obsessive compulsive disorder. Researchers tested the antidepressant because it was known to reduce inflammation and looked promising in smaller studies. New at 6 tonight, the football season is over for University High School's team. This after they reached the 10% threshold for positive cases on their team. The Titans were 4-4 this season. They were sitting in second place in the GSL 3A standings. This leaves Meade and Ferris fighting for the last playoff spot with just this week's games remaining.
So right now, University High School has the highest number of COVID cases in the Central Valley School District. As of Tuesday, 14 cases were reported in the school out of more than 1,700. We don't know how many of those are on the football team. We also don't know how many of those are students, teachers, or faculty. As part of our promise to bring you more to every story, we're taking a closer look tonight at the 40-page claim filed against the Spokane Regional Health District. Former health officer Dr. Bob Lutz is fighting for his job back after filing that wrongful termination claim.
KREM 2's Amanda Broley shares more details on the pressure that Dr. Lutz said he felt leading up to his termination.
Leading up to his controversial firing, the claim says several board members wanted Dr. Bob Lutz fired because his COVID-19 response actions did not align with their own. I read through the 40-page claim and found multiple instances where Dr. Lutz was told his actions made the board unhappy.
Early on in the COVID-19 pandemic, Dr. Bob Lutz closed playgrounds, participated in a Black Lives Matter protest, and published an op-ed on the topic. Following each of these actions, Lutz's claim says he was told the SRHD board was not happy. Eventually, Governor Jay Inslee established a criteria for counties to begin reopening. Each step of the way, the claim says Lutz experienced pressure from the board and elected officials to reopen for the good of the regional economy. When it came time to request Spokane County move into Phase 3, Dr. Lutz chose not to do this based on COVID-19 data. After making this public decision, the claim says Lutz was summoned to a meeting. It turned out to be an impromptu performance review, the timing of which he found suspect. Despite continued pressure from Spokane County Board of Commissioners to move to Phase 3, Lutz stuck to his decision. During this time, Clark prepared a formal Performance Improvement Plan, or PIP. The board ended up not moving forward with it. The claim mentions giving Lutz the PIP could prevent his termination because he would have the chance to improve. By not giving Lutz the PIP, the claim suggests the board was planning to fire Lutz and was gearing up for litigation. Clark once again considered issuing a performance improvement plan when Lutz strongly recommended schools begin the upcoming school year remotely. But again, they did not give him the document. Meantime, the claim details how tension continues to build between Lutz and Clark, eventually resulting in his termination.
Now, to be clear, Dr. Lutz wants his job back as the local health officer. Now, he is also asking for more than $1.4 million in damages. Now, if you'd like more information about Lutz's lawsuit, just text us the word Lutz to 509-448-2000 and we'll send a link right to your phone. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
All right, taking a break from the headlines right now. It was a windy and cloudy day across the inland northwest. Thankfully, though, it sounds like it'll clear out for this weekend.
Yes, very blustery today. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick is out in the Outdoor Weather Center right now where it is very breezy. Thomas, now that the sun has gone down, has it gotten any better?
Not at all. In fact, it feels like it's been as windy as it's been all day today. I am expecting the strongest winds to occur before 8 o'clock this evening. I think after 8 o'clock, we'll start to see it ease up quite a bit, but it's just been kind of here or there, gusting back and forth throughout the last couple of minutes as I've been waiting for this weather hit. Still these strong southwesterly winds and a wind advisory in effect until 11 o'clock at night. The wind gusts have been as strong as 40 miles per hour. In fact, some of these areas like Deer Park, we've seen that wind gust speed actually increase within the last couple hours, and you're probably hearing a bit of those winds on the microphone right now. As for the rain, it's just been slamming the western side of the state, but we have this pronounced rain shadow effect for eastern Washington, save for northeastern Washington, where that's actually where the warm front is located as of right now. But as you alluded to, as you tossed to me, Whitney, is that the weekend is going to be dry, very comfortable weather for the trick-or-treaters, or at least as comfortable as it can get, as those temperatures will fall from the 40s into the 30s just after sunset. So no worries for trick-or-treat, but more rain is still on the way, and we'll be timing out the last of this weather system in just a few moments.
Good, Thomas. Thank you very much. Still ahead tonight, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Nationwide, 1 in 3 women will experience intimate partner violence in their lifetimes. But for Indigenous women, that number is a lot higher.